Welcome to Delft, the picture-perfect Dutch city that looks like it jumped straight out of a Vermeer painting. With its winding canals, historic churches, and world-famous blue pottery, Delft is a must-visit for anyone exploring the Netherlands. Stick around because today we're uncovering Delft's hidden secrets, must-try foods, and some wild history that'll surprise you. The Markt Square, heart of Delft. Let's start at the Markt, Delft's central square dominated by the stunning City Hall and the new church. This is where locals have been trading goods since the 1300s. Fun fact, the new church is actually 600 years old. Only in Europe would we call that new, right? Inside lies the royal family's burial vault, including William of Orange, the father of the Netherlands. Legend says his loyal dog refused to leave his grave for days. Now that's loyalty. Royal Delft, where the famous blue pottery is born. Delft blue pottery is world famous, and at Royal Delft, you can watch artisans hand-paint these masterpieces. Here's a crazy fact. In the 1600s, Delft had over 30 pottery factories. Then, most burned down. Oops. Today, only Royal Delft remains. Pro tip, the mistake room sells slightly imperfect pieces for half the price. Shh. The old church. A tower that's leaning? Meet the Oude Kerk, Delft's leaning tower. It tilts about 2 meters because it was built on unstable canal soil. Some call it the Dutch Tower of Pisa. Inside, you'll find the grave of painter Johannes Vermeer, and rumor says his ghost still wanders here at night. The Prinsenhof, where history got violent. This peaceful courtyard hides a dark secret. See these bullet holes? They're from the 1584 assassination of William of Orange. The killer hid behind a door, shot him, and, well, let's just say it didn't end well for either of them. Canal cruising, the best way to see Delft. Want the best views? Hop on a canal tour. These waterways were once the city's highways for trade. Keep an eye out for hofjes, hidden courtyards where elderly women lived centuries ago. Today, they're Instagram gold. Delft's must-try foods. Time to eat. Don't miss Stroopwafels, freshly made at the market. The caramel smell is irresistible. Poffertjes, mini pancakes drowned in butter and powdered sugar. Dutch apple pop. The Cafe Kak makes the best in town. Festivals and events. Delft knows how to party. Mark your calendar for Kloot. Delft Chamber Music Festival. Classical music in historic buildings, Exclusion. Light Festival. Winter canals lit with magical installations. Kloot. Vermeer Year 2025. Celebrating the famous painter's 400th birthday. Blue Bye-Bye and Exclusions. Getting around Delft. Like all Dutch cities, bikes rule here. Rent one for €10 per day. Walking's great too. The center is small. Coming from Amsterdam, trains take just 1 hour. Kloot. Delft proves that great things come in small packages, whether it's Vermeer's art, blue pottery, or just a perfect Stroopwafel. So what are you waiting for? Shh. Welcome to Giethoorn, the Dutch village, so peaceful, cars aren't even allowed. With its storybook cottages, glass-like canals, and bicycles parked by wooden bridges, this place feels like stepping into a fairy tale. But how did this magical village come to be? Stick around, because we're uncovering Giethoorn's watery secrets, quirky history, and why it's called the Venice of the North. The canals. Why Giethoorn has no roads. 800 years ago, Giethoorn wasn't built, it was dug. Peat farmers excavated the land for fuel, leaving behind trenches that filled with water. Instead of roads, they used boats. Even today, mail is delivered by canal postman. How cool is that? And those cute thatched roofs? They're not just for looks, they're fireproof. Because, peat is basically ancient fire starter. Museum. Giethoorn, step back in time. This 1800s farmhouse shows how villagers lived on the water. See those tiny beds? Whole families slept here. And check out the Whisper Boat. Its silent design let farmers sneak up on ducks for dinner. Talk about stealth mode. Boat tours, the only way to explore. In Giethoorn, boats are like bicycles. Rent an electric whisper boat, so quiet you'll hear ducks gossiping, or hop on a guided tour. Local tip, bring wine and cheese for a sunset cruise, pure magic. Armhouse hotels, sleep like a local. Want the full experience? Stay in a thatched roof farmhouse. Many have private docks and gardens. Just don't be surprised if a curious swan knocks on your door for breakfast. Giethoorn's must-try foods. After all that boating, you'll need fuel. Try Poffertjes, mini pancakes drowned in butter. Eat them by the canal. Stamppot, hearty mashed potatoes with sausage, a Dutch winter classic. Fresh Stroopwafels, crispy waffle cookies with gooey caramel. Festivals and events. Yes, even this sleepy village throws epic parties. Don't miss Canal Lighting Festival, December. Thousands of lights reflect on the water. Whisper Boat Race, summer. The world's most quiet competition. Giethoorn's Christmas Market, mulled wine and ice skating on frozen canals. Getting around Giethoorn. No cars means you'll walk, bike, or boat. Rent a bike for €8 a day, or take the water taxi. Coming from Amsterdam, trains to Steenwijk was a quick bus ride will get you here. Giethoorn proves that sometimes the best adventures don't need roads, just a boat, a stroopwafel, and a sense of wonder. So, when are you visiting? Welcome to Leiden, the city where Rembrandt took his first breath, where books saved lives during sieges, and where every cobblestone whispers a 400-year-old secret. This isn't just a Dutch city. It's an open-air museum with a student party heartbeat. Ready to explore? Burgt van Leiden, the castle that saved a city. This grassy hill? It's actually a 1,000-year-old secret fortress. During the Spanish siege of 1574, locals hid here while eating, wait for it, hutspot, mashed carrots, onions, left by fleeing soldiers. Today, the view rewards climbers with a panorama of Leiden's red roofs. A dramatic reenactment of a starving citizen tasting hutspot, eyes widen in surprise. Rijksmuseum van Oudheden, mummies, and temple theft. This museum hides a real Egyptian temple, stolen piece by piece. The Temple of Tafé was a gift from Egypt for Dutch help saving artifacts from Nile floods. But the mummy room? That's where things get spooky. Pieterskerk, where pilgrims planned Thanksgiving. These walls heard history. Before sailing to America, pilgrims hid here for years. The real Thanksgiving might have been planned in Leiden. And see those tiny doors? They're poor doors, separate entrances for low-income churchgoers. Harsh. A comedic pilgrim selfie with a buckled hat. Someone dramatically failing to squeeze through a tiny door. Hortus Botanicus, Einstein's favorite garden. This 1590 garden is where Europe's first tulip bloomed, causing tulip mania. Yes, people traded houses for bulbs. Einstein loved pondering here. Maybe the secret to relativity is hiding in the carnivorous plant section. A sped-up tulip auction, where someone hands over house keys. Leiden's must-try foods. Leiden's tastiest secrets. Leidskaas, cumin spiked cheese stamped with the city's keys. Kanelbroodje, cinnamon rolls so good, students bribe professors with them. Haring, eat it like a local, tilt your head back and slide it in. A cheese wheel rolling down a canal, slow-mo. Tourist attempting herring, instant regret face. Festivals that defy logic. Leiden parties hard. 3 October Festival celebrates the 1574 siege with hutspot feasts and a fun fair on water. Leiden's on set. Fireworks so big, they'd make a Spanish invader surrender again. Museum night. All museums open till midnight with wine and live music. A carnival ride spinning on a canal. Drunk Rembrandt look-alike trying to paint. Getting around like a duchy. Leiden's smaller than Amsterdam, but just as bike crazy. Pro tips. Walk the center, it's compact. Bike to the windmills, €8 per day rentals. Train from Amsterdam, just 35 minutes. Tourist, swerving to avoid a swan. Crashes into a bike rack. Leiden is where history books come alive. Whether you're eating siege stew, finding Einstein's bench, or biking past Rembrandt's childhood home. So, when's your visit? Welcome to Eindhoven, where light bulbs, design dreams, and wild tech experiments come to life. This isn't your typical Dutch city of windmills and canals. Nope, here, old factories become nightclubs, parking garages turn into art exhibits, and even the sidewalks glow in the dark. Ready to see the future? Stripes, where factories became playgrounds. This was Philips' top-secret electronics lab for 100 years. Now, it's Eindhoven's coolest district. See that UFO-looking building? That's the Klokgebouw, where they tested radios. And today, DJs blast techno under those same roofs. Morphs into neon-lit ravers. A local skateboarder grinding down an old factory ramp. Fun fact: the first Philips light bulb, 1891, had a lifespan of 16 hours. Oops. Van Abbe Museum. Art that fights back. This museum hates boring art. Their most famous piece? A painting you're allowed to lick. It tastes like candy. During World War II, the director hid masterpieces in a bomb shelter to save them from Nazis. Talk about art with guts. A child nervously licking the artwork. Dramatic Mission Impossible style art heist reenactment. Philips Museum, birthplace of the electric shaver. Philips started here in 1891 making carbon filaments and accidentally invented pop culture. Their radios broadcast Europe's first pirate radio show from a ship, Rebel Spirit. A 1920s family gathered around a radio. Glowing bike paths, riding on stars. These twinkling bike lanes aren't just pretty, they're charged by the sun. Inspired by Van Gogh's Starry Night, he lived nearby. They glow for 8 hours after dark. Pro tip: visit in November for Glow Festival, when the whole city becomes a light art canvas. Eindhoven's Forget Bitterballen. Try these. Brain burger. Yes, it's black. Squid ink at the quirky Ketelhouse. Nachos. Dutch comfort food meets Tex-Mex at Thomas. Space cake. Not that kind, unless you visit a smart shop. Eindhoven doesn't do normal parties. November, buildings become giant light projectors. Dutch Design Week, See chairs made from mushrooms and living clothing. Rave inside a former weapons factory. Getting around like a techie. Eindhoven runs on wheels and Wi-Fi. Bike. Rent an fiets for €4.15 a day. Walking. Downtown is compact. Train. 1.5 hours from Amsterdam. Sit on the right for best views. Eindhoven proves that innovation isn't just about circuits and code. It's about rewriting the rules. Whether you're licking art, biking on stars, or raving in a factory, this city shines.